Coach, and then go questions after that. Coach.
All right, obviously, I haven't seen you guys since the last game, so I know there's lots of things to talk about it. First, just like to thank all the 20 young men that decided to sign with us today. Thank their families, thank their high school coaches, thank all the people that have mentored them and believe in us and want them to come here. I know you guys probably have 19 really fired up on the way down here. Jeremiah Jones signed with us, so fought off some last minute recruiting, but that's what happens when you're recruiting the best players in the country, and Jeremiah is one of them, so we're fired up that he joined us. But to all the recruits, to all their families, again, thank you. We don't take that responsibility lightly. It's been for some of these guys, you get in, you take the job that first year, it's kind of like triage, like you're figuring out who to recruit. The second year, you're really getting to know people. This is, our first class with 2 years, and really getting to know a lot of these guys. I can't thank the coaches enough, our recruiting staff, athletic staff, all the people in the community, people on campus, all the player hosts. I mean, it's a lot of visits, it's a lot of subtle and big thank yous. So very, very grateful for them for all the work that they've done. Before I move forward, I just want to say one thing about the Iowa game, and obviously our players didn't shake hands before the game, captains. I didn't know that even after the game. I found out about it, afterwards. And that's not what we want to do. That's not the way to handle it. I do want to say, we showed up at the game, and really for 12 years now, we show up to an away game. We always kind of go to the 50-yard line. Some guys, will say a prayer for safety. Some guys will just break it down. We've never really had any problems. We had a problem last year at Colorado for a few minutes. We had a problem this year at USC, but for the most part, we kind of go and do it. Iowa didn't want us to do it before the game. They told us we had to go to the end zone. When we came out to walk to the end zone, there were 7 armed state troopers standing on the logo. And I think our players felt some type of way about police in pregame. And, they felt that. It wasn't maybe channeled the right way. But I do, we've got great guys. We've got great leadership. Not the right decision, not what we wanted. But I think when you watch that game, credit to both teams, between the lines, no unsportsmanlike fouls, no trash talking, no taunting, and watching college football, even after the game, I think both teams handled themselves in a way that a lot of games didn't. So we'll grow from that, we'll learn from that. But I know a lot of people have asked me about it. I do want to make sure everyone understands kind of the whys, why our guys maybe felt that way. But again, we'll be better, and we'll make sure our guys understand that we'll always shake everyone's hand before we play them and after, regardless of the score. And that really brings me to our team, and I'm proud of this team, and I'm fired up that these young men want to join this team because there's some really great players in this signing class. But I know we're at a time right now where everyone's kind of looking around saying, hey, what's going to happen next? Nowadays in college football after season, there's a lot of change, and it's the new normal, and everyone better get really comfortable with this because this is how it's going to be. But I do want to thank the guys who were on the team last year, whether they've gone into the portal or they're at practice, tomorrow morning. I want to thank them because this has been hard. This has been a hard 2 years, and they've battled and they've fought. And I want them to be proud of the fact that, I don't know the last time, we beat a team that finished the season ranked, but we did that this year at Colorado, and that was a big moment for us. So, that's the trophy for beating Wisconsin's upstairs, and it doesn't say Nebraska on it till this year for 12 years. I mean, that's staggering when you walk by it. And we're not going to apologize for being the first team to beat Wisconsin. We're not going to apologize for getting to a bowl. And so you might have heard me say it earlier, but, on a journey like this, there's no other program in the Power 5 that had a longer streak of not going to a bowl game. And so it's hard to do what they did. It's hard to do what Giff and Ty and Nash and all those guys did. And so I don't want them to forget that. I don't want them to, we don't want to be 6-6. We want to have a better record. We want to win those close games, all those things. But I don't want them to forget what they did, because what they did was hard. And sometimes we have a tendency to overlook that. So being in bowl practice right now is exactly what this team needs, exactly what we need moving forward. I saw guys yesterday I saw guys practice and look like I haven't seen them look all year, and that was really good. Obviously, staff-wise, we have some things going on right now. Tony White, I can't thank him enough for his 2 years. I thought he did a good job. Tony came to me on Sunday and just said, hey, for some family reasons, wanted to get his family back home to Florida. Obviously I was disappointed. I liked coaching with Tony. I liked being around him. I thought he had a great affect. But, he's got to go do what he's got to do. And as I told the team, I've had 2 defensive coordinators in 12 years as a head coach. Both guys, while they were with me, were Broyles Award finalists. The next defensive coordinator will be a great defensive coordinator. We will play defense. I was ecstatic when Dana decided to stick around. He decided that he saw enough here in his time here to know that over the course of 4 weeks that we can get this thing offensively to where we want to get it to. And so we'll find the right defensive coordinator. I know there's a lot of angst from our guys right now about, hey, what's it going to be? The defense isn't going to change, but the offense is going to be better. And we have some assistant coaches. People have asked me about Terrence and Garrett. They're both with us. They both have some opportunities, and that's this time of year. And whereas a lot of staffs hide it, I've told every recruit, hey, this is out there, and this could happen because I don't want to lie to kids. I'm not going to lie to players. So in the coming days, we'll see where they end up. If it's here, great. But I'll be straight up with you. I think that some of those guys they might take some other opportunities. And when you're a coach and you have a bunch of players coaching former players of yours coaching for you, to me there comes a time when for them it's time for them to kind of go spread their wings. They played for me. They want to go coach somewhere else and be under someone else's guidance. And when I see Syracuse, I see Fran Brown, the head coach. He had the same conversation with me at some point. So I'm grateful for them if they're here, not here. We've hired Coach Shorts to come in and coach the receivers even before this. The initial plan was to have both he and Garrett there. Dana's offense, they've always kind of had an inside and outside receivers coach. It was Dana's only request. After 4 weeks, he said, Matt, I love the entire staff. I like working with Glenn. I like working with Sad. I like working with Donnie. I like working with EJ. But I do want to bring in my guy that I trust and believe in. He's one of the best recruiters. Great coach who kind of knows our system. So we made that, and then we'll see what happens as a result. And then finally, portal. I know everyone's kind of flipping out a little bit right now. I tried to prepare everybody. I tried, even with the signing class we have today, even with the kids in the portal, we're still over 85 scholarships. Like, there's going to be more. And everybody's journey is different. Jamari came in to see me first thing Monday morning. We hugged. I never expected Jamari to be back next year. Then he came to me and said he wanted to come back and play. I thought he was going to go to the NFL. He's going to do what he has to do. Everyone's got a little different story. Some guys, this is just a different age. Everyone comes in now. Am I going to start? Am I going to play? And I think you guys know me well enough to know I'm not going to tell everybody what they want to hear. I'm going to tell them the truth. And some guys will stay. Some guys will go. A lot of people want to come here right now. We're getting a lot of calls. It'll all be fine. It'll all be great. And as I look at where we're at right now, everything that's happening is by design. My history's always been to be 6-6 in the second year, get to a bowl game, and the third year make a jump, and we'll make that jump. And I'm adapting to the new landscape. When I first got here, you could only transfer once. Now you can transfer twice in a year. We'll adapt. We'll have good players, and we'll play good football. So I know it's a lot of things, but I've gotten asked a lot of questions on and off the record, so I figured I'd address them as best I could. And with that, I want to take whatever questions you have, but I do want to make sure I finish by saying thank you to all those recruits again, because I think this is an excellent class. And I think we got some guys who can come in and play early, because this class is going to have to come in and play early.
Matt, to confirm, who's the defensive coordinator for the bowl game?
John Butler, and John's definitely a candidate for the job right now. I brought John in, knowing that at some point Tony was going to leave. Whether it was a coordinator job or head coaching job. John's been a DC before, so right away I just said, hey John, I need you to take this over and run with it. So. He's done a great job in the season of putting together game plans, and passing game plans and stuff with Tony, and he'll take that. And so I'll talk to some different people. I have talked to some people. I've had a lot of players come into me and voice their opinions. And a lot of guys love John on the staff, on the team. But that's one of the reasons why we hired John was in case this happens. So we'll see how it goes.
Schwartz will coach the bowl game for you guys.
Yeah, he'll be at practice.
What's the timetable on that kind of the defensive coordinator move? How quickly do you want that to happen?
Yeah, I've despite all the angst, because I get the angst, right? Like I get I don't ever want to make a bad decision. I think sometimes when we rush, we make bad decisions. And so, even yesterday, I was able to go out to practice and, we put the ball down and we're competing and John's calling the defenses and I can kind of get a rhythm for how he does it and all that. So I feel really comfortable with him. I feel really comfortable with some other coaches. I can't tell you the amount of people who are interested in the job. I mean, I'm talking about sitting current Power 5 coordinators. I think what's important to me is I like the way we play defense. I like this defense. I like these fronts. I like the multiplicity of what we did. We did some different things against Iowa that I thought were great. And so I don't want to switch to something different. I want to do this defense. And so whoever that is, I don't want to make that decision for a short term, we all feel good about it. I don't want to make a splashy hire. I mean, if we'll all remember when I hired Tony in the 3-3-5, my phone didn't stop blowing up. How's the 3-3-5 ever going to work? And people were panicked, and I think it's worked out pretty good. So I have no timetable other than just to get it right. Just to make it right.
When you have essentially 2 coordinator changes this close to the early signing period, what were the challenges of trying to of keeping the full class, pretty much intact?
Yeah, I think I think people were excited about Dana. I think people, while those guys had relationships with the coaches on the staff, and a lot of that hasn't changed. I think obviously the Tony thing, kind of scared people. I think Terrence's name being out there scared people. And I say this with the greatest respect. We're going to be a defensive team. We're going to play defense. Like Terrence is my 5th defensive line coach, that I've had as a head coach. And, Hassan Reddick was a first-round draft pick. Brian Burns, had a great career. I mean, we've had great players up and down the board. And so I love those guys. I'm not saying anything to take away from it, but, we're going to play great defense. And we're going to have great defensive players who go on to get drafted. So I think that message to people, stability. I mean, again, this is how we do things. Just come play for us. And I think the relationships that our recruits and families have with the whole staff, from Susan Elza to Corey Campbell, from Kristen Coggan to Ron Brown to just Gus Felder across the whole gamut, I think make them feel good about kind of what will happen here.
When you look at the transfer portal, does your dial change a little bit about how many more transfers you might take given the nature of the availability of players, especially with the 105 roster? And then 2, are there positions that you feel like you want to prioritize in the portal? Yeah,
so my feeling on the portal has changed even through the course of the last year. My biggest thing was I never wanted to be the coach who came in and took young people and said, "You're off scholarship." The NCAA has kind of done that with the 105 rule, and there's some different things they're going to do. And so, I did a PowerPoint on Monday for our team about the 105 rule and rev share. I want them to know the facts, right? So, we're gonna be aggressive in high school recruiting, and we're gonna be aggressive in the portal, because that's just the new way of doing things, right? Like when I was in the NFL, we tried to be aggressive in free agency. I just never wanted to, I didn't want to flip the roster by just coming in and telling kids to leave, right? But I don't have to do that now. We're still, like I said, we had to go from 150. If you think about it, we want to be at 105 next year. You had to go from 150. Let's say you have 20, 30 seniors. That's 120. You got to get down basically to 70 to be able to add 20 new signees and then 15 portal guys. Let's say 7 on each side, 10 new portal guys. So I tried to warn everyone there would be a lot of attrition, a lot of scary attrition, but it's all part of what has to happen right now. I think, as we move forward, it'll be a little bit more normalized, but I mean, we have schools with 10 guys that, that are already in the portal or say they're going in the portal or reaching out somehow, some way. And, the portal is open until Monday, so we're trying to do everything the right way. But I'm just telling you, this is like nothing we've ever seen before. I mean, it's just completely different this year than it was. And, we have revenue sharing now. We have a healthy bottom line, and we have the money to go do it. We have 1890 support, but we also have revenue sharing as well. So, 1890's been amazing, and what they've allowed us to do is is elite, right? I mean, basically we had 85 scholarship players plus probably another 20 guys that paid for school with NIL. We had 105 scholarship players, so you're going to have some attrition to get back down to where we're going to be at. So, but yeah, I think we're going to be aggressive in terms of the exact positions and all that. I don't know. I want to say necessarily that. I don't think there's any position we wouldn't look at. I mean, I think we're going to bring in competition and let guys compete. Let the best players play, and rotate a lot of guys on defense, play a lot of guys on defense, and kind of go from there.
I think naturally quarterback. Do you try to re-recruit Danny out of the portal, or do you go thinking about getting a fourth quarterback in the class?
Yeah, I think we've made a commitment to Heinrich that we would let him explore some other positions. So he really wants to be a pro player with his athleticism. So that would probably mean we would need to look at really a third quarterback. I don't want to speak about each kid as they go in the portal because I don't think that's fair to those guys. Other than I think Danny did everything the right way, and I respect him. I think he's going to be a great player. We'd love to have him here, but TJ's coming in, and we're really high on TJ. And so if we need to get a third guy to be in that room, then we would do it. We probably will. And Heinrich obviously gives us some flexibility.
Does the 105 rule change the profile of how you recruit at all? I mean, does there have to be some I know you want to develop guys, but does there have to be more urgency with like underclassmen guys with a smaller roster?
Yeah, I think the way we look at it is I just completely, when we did this, I just completely flipped over back into like what we did in the NFL, where you have a 53-man roster, and you have maybe 6 wideouts, maybe you have 9 O-linemen, and these are the guys you play with, right? And so then you have like another 53-man roster that's like your developmental, so that comes out to 106 basically, and say 57 and 50, whatever, you guys get 48, but you basically have two 53-man rosters in our mind, right? And so these guys are playing, the guys who play, the resources, these other guys, they're coming, they're getting an education, they're developmental player, but the high school players that we sign, we were very blessed when we got here. There were a lot of older guys on defense. The young guys that we sign on defense, either we signed last year or that we signed this year, when they come in, we're going to hope that they play. If not, they kind of go over here. They're on the developmental group, and then in a couple of years, they'll be John Bullock. They'll be those guys. So we'll try to take a 2-pronged approach, sort of, hey, developmental guys, and then guys that are ready to play right now. And, whichever way we have to go with each kid, we'll go. And we'll be honest with them. And if they want to go through the process of turning themselves into a great player over time, then do it. If they want to kind of, hey, it's either hit or miss, then we have to do that as well.
Is Jalen Gramstad going to come back for a 6th year, or is he going to be done too?
I don't know that he's decided that. He's out at practice with us. I think he's still trying to figure out what's next for him. So
Out of practice, you said.
he is at practice, yeah.
You signed a handful of kids from the state. How important was that obviously they're great players, but to have them in being Nebraska kids, that's got to be a nice little bonus for you.
Yeah, no doubt. I think this program means something to them. Representing their state means something to them. They all had options. They're all really good athletes. They all have the traits that you want. Christian Jones is, got as tough a mindset as a guy you can have. Yet at the same time, he, can run 10.8 in the 100-meter and can fly. And so, those guys all have those skills. Connor Booth had an amazing year. Jackson Carpenter, 10.5 100-meter. I mean, there's a lot of guys that we signed in state that really great athletes. I remember, Caden Vermoss came to our camp and it was like 4.49. And I was like, no doubt. So those guys all have the traits to come do it. A couple guys, the Tyson Terry and Pierce Mooberry are banged up, but they'll get healthy. So we've been fired up from those guys since day one.
You signed 2 running backs and some high-level wide receiver recruits as well. Just what do you think about those skill position guys that you've added on the offensive side?
Yeah, we were able to flip Mosey, in the summer. We were able to flip Cortez and get him here, which was obviously big for us. Signed Jeremiah Jones, signed Connor Booth and Jamarian Parker. So, like I said, Jackson Carpenter can really, really run. So, we signed Ja'Cory and Carter last year, who've come in and played a lot. Now you signed a couple more guys. You hope they come in and play a lot. And, pretty soon you have a pretty salty, wide receiver room. And so, like I said, the guys that are here right now or who come in with us right now and help us make that jump from 6 wins to what will be next. That's hard to do, and so they have to have a toughness and an eagerness to want to get that done. And so I'm really excited about the skill guys we signed and what they can bring.
It used to be on signing day, it was a battle in the living room to get a Cortez Mills or a guy like Jeremiah Jones here. But for you guys with NIL, how important is that now? I mean, it almost seems like the NIL is the battle now when you go down the stretch for a Mills or a Jones.
Yeah, I don't think either one of those guys made their decision based off of money. I think they went where they wanted to be. I think I mean, obviously it's like when you're looking for a new job, if the salary's in the same same ballpark, then you kind of go where you think you're gonna have the best experience, the best quality of life. So, like I said, from where I got here to where NIL was to what the Pede family has done and the investment they've made and all the people who donate to 1890 to what really Troy has done to kind of unite all of that. Now with the future into revenue sharing, it's given us a chance. I mean, you think about it think about some of the places we flip guys from. You're talking about SEC schools, you're talking about really good, and so you have to be in the conversation. Again, I don't know that's why people go there. What I mean, especially in high school, I think they want a certain place, they like certain people, but you have to be in the same ballpark, right, to have a chance. And so this has allowed us to be in a lot more conversations than we've been in before. And that's kind of what I said about the portal, right? Right now, like the we're able to be in different conversations now with the revenue sharing and the commitment that both the university is making and 1890 is making.
How does revenue sharing, do you have players who ask about NIL, or do they also ask about revenue sharing? And how do you decide who's going to make what? Or have you even begun that process of determining that?
Yeah, I think I mean, players right now, again, because NIL is still going on at the level that it's going on, it is the main thing this spring. Then it turns into revenue sharing July 1st, pending the House settlement going through and being approved. So, yeah, I've had a lot of players. I'm always really open about it. I've had a lot of players, ask me, hey, what's this going to look like? And I've told players, hey, your best leverage is at this time, right? If right now, if you're the starter, you should say, hey, I want this. If you're not sure where you stand, you might want to wait till after the spring and kind of cement yourself and say, to me, you look at the NFL model, right? The left tackle makes more than the tight end, and so no one's gonna be the same, right? Really, if you look at the NFL, this right guard and this left guard do the same job, but this one makes $6 million, this one makes $600,000, and so it's going to be a challenge on every roster across the country, but what players have is they have unlimited free agency right now. So if a kid leaves here and everyone says, well, why would they leave? The answer, it might be a lot of different answers, but one of them could be they got offered a lot of money to leave, and so it's not like there's contracts. In the NFL, there were contracts, you could look at them, and this is all just kind of, it's just different, right? So it also gives us a lot of flexibility to go out and get good players. But yeah, everyone's kind of asking hey, what's this mean? And I think it just kind of all slotted you're an all-conference receiver, you're probably going to make this. You're a backup receiver, you're probably going to make this. And then, as you're in the program, you'll probably get taken care of more and more and more.
Sounded like you felt good about the fit with Dana real early on. When do you think he felt it was right to keep going with this? And how excited are you, I guess, about what he can do now with a runway into a season and everything?
Yeah, I don't know when he felt it. I mean, I know he was having fun. I remember after the Wisconsin game telling me it's the most fun I've had in a while, and obviously Iowa was kind of almost shocking how it ended. But I think Sip asked me after the game, we had almost 400 yards against a really good defense. We weren't able to quite get in the end zone and all that. But I think he's going to take it to a whole other level. I think we're going to, just from everything that I've seen, from the way we're doing things at practice to the way he's approaching it, I think he's going to go here. And I've got great young talent for him. And like I said, we have the ability to go into the portal and add players as well. So, I think his offense is one that guys are going to flourish in.
You said everybody's kind of got to get comfortable with the new normal. Are you comfortable with the new normal?
Well, yeah, it doesn't mean I necessarily like it, right? But I also didn't like I really hated telling going from 150 to, I mean, I've had kids come in my office saying, like in the last couple of days, and like hug me and be like, hey, I know there's no spot for me here, coach. Is there anywhere you can? I've had parents text me and say, Coach, you know, my son's a walk-on. We don't have any connections. Can you help us with anything? We got Sean Patton in there making tapes for kids. I mean, I hate that. You know, I told the players regarding Tony, but also them. You know, I just when they make a decision, whether it's to stay, to leave, whatever they decide, I hope that they make the right decision for them based on the right reasons and the right information, and I hope they do it the right way. You know, it's like I made a decision to come here. You know, I made a decision to leave Temple. We all make different decisions, and I just want them to make the best decision with the best information. It's unique in that, like, you know, we're talking to players about, hey, why weren't you at study hall yesterday? And School B could be talking to them about, hey, if you come here, we're going to start. We're going to give you this. So it's, you know, I mean, but at the same time, you know, we have the ability to do that too. So I mean, so am I comfortable with it? You know, I'm going to flourish in it. You know, I mean, to me, the way you're successful is you come in, you figure out what it is. I talk to a lot of other head coaches, and I think everyone's trying to figure out, you know, the new rules and how it's all going to be done. And at least at some point there'll be some contracts, you know, with revenue sharing, which will be nice. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm comfortable. I like I said before, I believe everything that's happened. And like my own kid, my son's walking around like, everything is exactly what was supposed to happen. I tried to tell everybody what was going to happen. You know, no, not every. I mean, did I want Tony to leave? No, but it's okay. I mean, like, coaches are going to leave. If we have good players, guys, and we have good coaches, then people are going to come try to get them. If no one's trying to take our players and no one's trying to take our coaches, it means we're in trouble. And so that's what it's going to be. And the thing I'm seeing is that people all over the country are saying Nebraska is one of those places with resources. So, hey, Coach, I'd love to come coach there. Or, Coach, I'd love to come play there.
What stood out to you about Malcolm Simpson as a prospect?
Just, you know, I think it's when I watched his basketball tape. I mean, just unbelievable explosiveness, athleticism. You know, you watch his senior tape in football and it really shows up on the field. I mean, great, you know, demeanor, gregarious, you know, fun. But, you know, we're not looking for, you know, big, non-moving D linemen. We want guys who can get up the field, be athletic. And I think that's what you see with, you know, that's what you see the growth in Ty. You know, you look at Ty from, you know, what he did last year to what he did this year is just such a huge jump. And I think Malcolm, I think Cade Petchock, those guys have that explosiveness where they can come in early and really be two guys, you know, that help on that D-line. I think we have some really good young D-line prospects we've been excited about that are already here, but those guys will come in and add to it.
Broadly speaking, I mean, how would you grade the athletic profile of these 20 guys, how it stacks up with your peers in the Big Ten?
Athletically, like as players, you're saying, or just like the traits? Okay.
The raw traits that you.
I mean, I'd put our traits up there. I mean, I haven't studied who everyone has, right? So I don't want to, but I think, you know, we don't offer a kid a scholarship if we don't think he's going to be an NFL player. You know, if we don't think he has the chance to be an NFL player, we don't take skill guys who can't run. You know, I think the one thing that we've kind of added here is, I think when you come to the University of Nebraska, you have to have a competitive streak and a mental toughness that, you know, that like is really pretty elite. You know, like you can't be kind of competitive. You know, you have to be really competitive to win in today's Big Ten. And so we've kind of I think we've maybe given more for that. I think half of the guys that are on this class played for a state championship, like guys who played at a high level. But yeah, I think when you look at like the height, weight, speed, trait, length, all those things, and you got a lot of guys who've won a lot, I think we're right up there.
Matt, with the bowl game announcement Sunday, what is the practice schedule? Are you hoping to do like 4 days a week? I mean, how many days of practice can you get in a week?
Yeah, we went Tuesday, Thursday this week. Okay, so we lifted on Tuesday, then we're lifting tomorrow. We practiced yesterday, and then we're practicing tomorrow. And those seniors aren't practicing. It's just the young guys. So we can really, really lay eyes on them, right, and really develop them. Then next week it'll probably be 4 days, probably like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then a Saturday practice. We'll probably have some visitors in, from your portal guys in on Saturday, I would assume. We'll see how that plays out. And then probably another week of that, kind of heading into wherever we're headed, right? If we're playing on the 28th, or we're playing on the 30th, that'll kind of dictate exactly when we're doing what.
Are you expecting any bowl game opt-outs?
I think just the guys that have gone in the portal so far. I mean, Ty has expressed to me that he wants to play. I think Ty should be a first or second round pick. So You know, I've told him, hey, whatever you want to do. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm having more meetings with players now than I can even express to you. So, kind of everything as it comes. But really, what bowl games have turned into for a lot of teams. There's teams that took 40 and 50 guys to bowl games. Scholarship guys to bowl games the last couple of years. It's really turned into like the first game of the next year for you. It's like, hey, look at USC last year. Miller Moss went out and threw for 500 yards, and they're like, hey, this is our quarterback next year. So I think if a veteran guy wants to play in it, we're fired up. But this is really a chance also for a lot of the young guys to really grow and accelerate in these 3 weeks.
Will your 14 early enrollees go on the bowl trip, or a lot of them at this point?
Yeah, Susan's been working on that. We're expecting all of them to go, even the ones who are injured. I don't know how much they can actually do on it, right? Because they have some acclimation and all that. But I think just being on the bowl trip, being a part of everything, I think is going to be really, really good for them.
What are you getting in Dawson Merritt?
Oh man, I mean, I went and watched Dawson play a game this year, and I've always loved his mindset and who he is as a person, man. But like, I texted him. We have a whole staff group chat, which is like, I don't know how many people Susan manages. It's a lot. And I was like, Dawson's a 5. This guy he's athletic, he's physical, he's smart. Man, he'll come. I told him this morning when I talked to him after he signed, I was like, come in ready to play, because he's got all the tools to come in and play and help us.
What is he? I mean, what how do you envision him?
He'll be an outside linebacker. He's a guy to me that can go out and play in space and can cover guys in space and can play man, can bring pass rushing elements to you. He's a true outside linebacker.
I'm not interested in number, but is there other guys that you would say that definitively they can come in and play?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think there's a bunch of these guys that we expect to play. You don't want to put that on guys until they get here, but I want them to have the expectation. I want Cortez Mills, I want him going to bed tomorrow thinking about him coming there to play. I want these guys, and if everyone should think that, but I think we think that the caliber of some of these players that we're bringing in, we expect them to come in and help.
And I know you said you didn't want to rush into naming a defensive coordinator. Take your time, look at all the candidates, whatever. Would it surprise you if you did not have a coordinator in position by the bowl game?
I don't know that, honestly. I just mean I have no timetable, and I'm dealing with a lot of things right now. Like, I'm trying to handle multiple things. So, I think, the advice I give to the players sometimes is like, just hurry up and wait. Like, don't rush into stuff. And for me, it's like, I'm just going to wait this thing out. The most important thing to me right now, honestly, is like the roster. Like, the guys we were just these signees, and then the other guys that we're going to bring in. We're going to bring in some other guys, and I think that's the most important part to me. Again, the defense isn't going to change, so I'm not really interested in like, hey, this guy's vision of this and this guy's vision of that. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in 2 days I said, hey, this is the guy. I mean, when I know. I just don't know that I know yet. So it could be a week. It could be at the bowl game. I won't do it until I know. And I won't hire any other positions or anything else comes open until I hire, a coordinator, and really the same offensively. I'll let Dana and I'll let the defensive coordinator be a part of anything that we have to hire if something comes up.
Latif has it right. Go ahead.
What's the plan for Sat moving forward?
Yeah, he's going to coach the tight ends. I think our tight end play this year was excellent. That's what Dana thought. I think we have some young developmental guys we really, really like, and that was Dana's call. I gave him full reign on, hey, whatever you want, and Sat wants to be here, and I think he's done a great job in recruiting, and I think he'll continue to help us.
Latif was probably recruited by a couple of different coaches here. What do you like about him? What did Glenn? What did Dana like about TJ coming in?
Yeah, I love his accuracy. I love his release. I love his ability to progress, get through progressions. He brings a mobility element that's nice. He's a winner. He's confident. Glenn was, one of the first guys, seeing him and really liked him, and then I followed quick suit, and then Dana's on board as well. So I think TJ's a guy that we earmarked, and we're able to get up here, and he liked it, and I think he's going to be a really good player. All right, good to see you guys. Thank you.